Welcome to this Digital Consultants webinar on using storytelling to clarify your message. It's a powerful tool to use in marketing campaigns, and we want to share this information with you so you can successfully market your Christian school to potential parents. What is StoryBrand? This is the marketing framework that we use, and it is inspired by the principles of storytelling. It was developed by Don Miller, who is the founder of StoryBrand, a marketing company. Our business, Digital Consultants, has StoryBrand certified guides who are trained to use this marketing tool. I'm sure as educators, you appreciate the powerful effects of storytelling. I used to be a supply teacher at a Christian school, and I always brought some books with me just in case, because I knew that I could always get the class's attention and bring order back to the class with a story. Nothing compels the human brain to pay attention like a great story. Messaging that follows the StoryBrand framework has some powerful effects. It clarifies your message that you are conveying to your audience. It gets and keeps people's attention. And this is important in a world filled with noise and distractions. And it's a powerful way to get attention for your school. If you think about some classic stories in books or in films, they usually follow a similar format. And that is that there is a character who has a problem, some challenge they have to overcome. They meet a guide, someone who shows them the path to success, who gives them a plan, calls them to action that ultimately ends in success and helps them avoid failure. Stories are about transformation. If we look at this in terms of a private school, it might look like this. The character is the parent, the family looking for a school for their child. The problem is what they need to solve. They want the best education, and they're looking for one in a Christian environment. They meet a guide, that's your school, who gives them a plan, your solutions to their needs, and calls them to action. Start the enrollment process, and that ultimately ends in success. Your child flourishes and thrives in the Christian environment. This is what they aspire to get for their child and for them. And it helps them avoid failure, what they'll miss out on if they go elsewhere. When someone comes to a website, there are 3 questions they come with. What do you do? How do you make my life better? How do I get it? And storytelling helps to clearly communicate these things for your school. Storytelling will clearly communicate what you do, what you offer, how you make their child life better, why they should send their kids to your school instead of somewhere else. What's the value of going there? What benefits will be received by attending? A good story has the power to attract the right people to your website, engage and hold their attention, and persuade them that you are the guide to help solve their problems. If you can tell a good story or a good customer-centered story on your website, then you can grow your school. If you don't, then your potential families will get confused, they will lose interest and go elsewhere. It's important to understand that you're not telling your story, but inviting customers into a story. The brand is not the hero. The customer is the hero. And that is the only way to engage them. The brand's role, so your role as the school, is to guide them successfully through their challenges. Let's go through the StoryBrand framework step by step so you can understand how to use story in marketing your school. So we start off with a character. This is the main character, the hero of the story, and it is not you. It is your customer. For you, prospective parents. Your story must center on the hero and what they want. Who is your target audience, and what do they want in relation to what you are offering? What is their ultimate end goal? has a problem. These are the problems and issues that your parents are struggling with. These might be different for different schools depending on the area you're in. Not only are there external problems, but there's also the internal unwanted feelings that come with those problems. Feelings of frustration, uncertainty, or fear. And then on top of the external problems and the internal feelings, there's a philosophical element to this. Why does this matter in the grand scheme of things? This, I believe, is where Christian schools have a lot to say, as they are providing children with a strong foundation for healthy growth, spiritually, emotionally, and in wisdom. And as we know, a biblical worldview is very important in our world today. So they meet a guide, and we introduce another character to help the hero find their way. This character is called the guide. You want to position yourself as the guide. As the guide, focus on how you help solve the hero's problems. A good guide must demonstrate two things: empathy and authority. You want to demonstrate that you understand, that you recognize their pain, their frustrations, their hopes, their dreams and desires. And you want to demonstrate authority, that you have what it takes to help the hero overcome those problems. Who gives them a plan? StoryBrand advises using a simple 3-step plan that makes it easy for your parents to say yes right away. Your process may have 15 smaller steps in between, but they don't need to know every step in order to get started. If you confuse them, you're going to lose them. If it looks too hard, they won't take action. So keep it simple. An example of a school website's 3-step plan for the parents to take is right here. And it shows 1, schedule a visit, 2, apply, and 3, become part of our family. That is easy, and it's not overwhelming for parents at all. Calls them to action. What do you want your parents to do? Make it clear that this is the one thing they need to do, and repeat this throughout your website. You need a direct call to action, or CTA, and a transitional call to action, also called a lead generator. So here on this school website, you can see very easily and very clearly the direct call to action. Enroll now. Schedule a tour. These are very easy for the parents to find and very clear for what action to take. Transitional call to actions are something you offer for free to slowly on-ramp people to your school. This school has a PDF that they offer about the benefits of Christian education. Parents get something for free that it's of value, and the school in turn gets a name and an email that they can then follow up with. To help you understand these two call to actions, consider a marry me or date me way of thinking. If your visitor isn't ready to marry you, become a customer or become a family at your school, maybe they just want to go on a date and learn more about how you can help them and to see if they can trust you. And that's what the transitional call to action does. And then finally, that ends in success. People love to be taken somewhere, so paint a clear vision of the future for prospective parents and their children. This should be done not only in words, but also in pictures. You can see the picture here shows happy children enjoying school, laughing. That's what you want to do. Remind them of their happy ending and why they need to choose you. In order to define success for your parents, brainstorm what their life will look like if their problem is resolved, and then think about how that resolution will make them feel. Then consider why the resolution to their specific problem has helped make the world a better place. That touches on that external problem, internal feelings, and philosophical element. And helps them avoid failure. If there are no stakes in the game, it's easy to lose interest in the hero's journey. In a story, if there is nothing to be won or lost, nobody cares. What this means is you need to make it clear to prospective parents what's at stake if they don't enroll their children at your school, how you help them avoid some kind of negativity in their life. So you need to define what's at stake, but it is important to note that not all parts of the StoryBrand framework should be used evenly in your marketing. Think of it like a recipe for a loaf of bread. The stakes are like the salt in the recipe. You use too much, your bread will taste terrible. If you leave it out, it's going to taste bland. Just remember, your messaging should include the stakes, but don't make this the focus of your marketing. So that was a lot of information, and we want to make it practical for you to incorporate this storytelling framework in your marketing of your school. So we have just 5 questions that you can ask yourself to incorporate storytelling in your messaging. And think about your website, your social media, your emails when you ask these questions. Number 1, who is your target audience and what do they want? 2, what are your parents' problems? Focus on these in your messaging. Number 3, what do you want your parents to do? Make it easy and clear for them to take action. Don't overwhelm them and don't confuse them. Just make it simple and clear. What is their ultimate end goal? Remind families of their happy ending and why they need to choose you. Paint that picture of the future with words and pictures. And finally, what are the stakes? If there are no stakes in the game, it's easy to lose interest. There are some people too who are more motivated to avoid failure than achieve success. So do talk about this in small amounts. So next steps, you can download for free just a PDF of these 5 questions, just to remind yourself of things to ask as you look at your website or your social media, your email marketing. Feel free to schedule an appointment with us so we can give you any recommendations in your story messaging that might help to clarify your story messaging in your different channels. Visit our resource center and read. There's lots of blogs that you can read for more tips and marketing information. And we want to tell you about our next webinar, which is entitled Get Noticed on the Top 3 Social Media Channels for 2022. At this webinar, you'll learn how to make use of the top 3 social media networks, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, how to create engaging posts on these sites, and learn easy ways to edit posts on these channels and discover simple ways to find what's trending and subtle tips to increase engagement. Thank you for attending.
We've covered a lot there. If you have any questions, we would love to help you out. Visit our website for more information and resources, give us a call, or send us an email. We are here to help your Christian school grow.